You now got
Well, it actually happened. Hello, everyone, and welcome into this special live edition, this review of WWE Survivor Series 2023 War Games. I'm Noah Trombley, joined by Mike Rifkin, Adam Reeder, special guest tonight, and Lawrence Patchman Lang. And guys, it actually happened. We
I
don't
can't
care
believe
about the
it.
War Games matches. Randy Orton did return. He won the War Games match, part of the Team Cody. The show looks like it's going off the air, and we hear it. We hear the static scratch. We hear Cult of Personality, and out walks CM Punk into a WWE arena for the first time in nearly 10 years. Chicago obviously goes nuts. I mean, and Mike, I was just telling Adam and Patchy, before we went on here, and I'll let you react to this too. What a brilliant work by Triple H to make us think that he's announcing Orton simply because he doesn't want us to get excited for CM Punk. Turns out they're both there anyway.
I think of the storyline throughout the night. Where's Randy Orton? Where's Randy Orton? And that gets you think, oh God, Randy's not there. It's gonna be Punk or who knows, go off the book. It's Riddle waiting for his best friend Randy to come back. But no, like here's the tweet from WWE. Never say never. Like,
Yeah.
that just says it all in the return.
I mean, and you know what's funny, Mike, to go off your point and to go off WWE's tweet, the fact that, if you had told me 10 years ago that CM Punk would walk back into a WWE arena, I would have told you were crazy. The fact that CM Punk has returned, I'm never buying anybody never leaving again.
Well, I've always said you can't ever say never because Bret Hart's in the Hall of Fame. And after what happened at Survivor Series 97, you would have never thought Bret Hart would ever appear again in the WWE.
I couldn't believe it. I heard the static. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me.
I was really hoping for it first. It was just an epic troll job by somebody.
I think Chicago would have rioted if that was a troll job.
Listen, circumstances unfolded between Mr. Punk and AEW and certain other people within AEW. If he wasn't brought back tonight on pay-per-view in Chicago, as we always joked, would burn to the ground if that didn't happen.
Yeah. The only way they avoid this is if CM Punk is still in AEW and he's still.
What was crazy was Noah and I were talking about I've been this entire time with all the AEW drama with Punk. I've been in the camp of like, all right, this is probably a work. Like they did the whole MJF is rioting against AEW and why would they make the company look bad? All this stuff. And we were actually came to the conclusion he's probably the masked man behind this whole MJF being attacked from behind kind of thing. And
I thought for sure he was the devil.
Yeah, right. And then we were like, well, he really could be the Survivor Series guy too. But what an awesome chain of events for this to happen. But I can't believe it. But this is really like a never say never moment. I mean, it's a Sting walks into WWE kind of moment. This actually happened. Like Punk, I mean, for years and years listen to any podcast he was on in 2015. I mean, he never in a million years would you think this was possible. Mm-hmm. But crazy. I can't believe it. I'm so excited, but it's also kind of we saw him in a AEW. I don't know what to make of that anymore.
As I put to Noah earlier before, we jumped on the interwebs, he had bad blood with Tony Khan and the Young Bucks. And, he had beef with his bosses who were wrestlers, who controlled everything. And, they probably yes Tony Khan to death about Punk and blah, 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 blah. Here, you have a creative team that are basically a bunch of non-wrestlers minus Triple H. And Triple H knows, as we've said for years, knows what's best for business, or as they say on the airs, best for business. Punk is going to be fine being back because he'll be under control, and they won't put up with. Granted, they won't probably put up with BS either, but I think here he'll be tamed.
I hope so. because I text Adam, I texted you this because that was one of the reasons I was so mad about the whole AEW exit was because like, dude, we've wanted your return for 8 years and it feels like you're ruining it.
Yeah.
Like stop getting fired and stop, doing all this. Just go somewhere and just be there and just give us your wrestling return.
It almost was like continuation of like remember his whole pipe bomb. Part of it was around the fact that there was just like part-timers get a free pass to go to the front of the line. He literally did that in UFC. Like he got like all the UFC like fanatics and everywhere around were pissed that he was the guy that got the automatic pay-per-view appearances. Like he did it twice, and he was awful. And then he in AEW, I mean, he did 3 paper. He returned. Then he did like 3 pay-per-view matches and got the world title, pretty much front of the line kind of stuff. And then he got the world title again, and he kind of kept blowing it. So it's kind of like it's one of those you become what you've hated level of things. There's a better quote for that, but that's basically what happened.
You were the Red. It's what he said to Cena that one time. You were the Red Sox for so long, but now you become the Yankees.
Yeah, right.
That brings me to an interesting question, Adam. And I mean, God, this throws a loop into a wrench into everything we thought we're gonna do. I'm just gonna ask it straight up: is CM Punk now the guy that's gonna beat Roman?
No, it's Cody. But CM Punk can totally be the guy that beats Seth for the world title pretty soon.
I would be perfectly fine with that.
So you all still think that Cody is the one to take it from Roman?
Cody is absolutely 1,000. The fact that they haven't given Cody the world title means he's taking it from Roman. Okay. I think.
That's kind of my thing. That's the only thing I had kind of like a hold moment in here was like, as long as he's not the one to beat Roman, I'm cool with this. Yeah. But if he just swoops in and just steals Cody's spot, it's like, okay, come on.
I bet you even Punk says he doesn't want to be the one to beat Roman.
Maybe.
Just to make you angry, I want to say yes, to be honest with you. If that's where we're going.
And Mike, what was so crazy about this night was they gave us so much. Like last year, the last few minutes of the Survivor Series match were some of the best booking I've ever seen, with the whole Sammy finally getting accepted into the bloodline by Jay and all that. And now we have this year where you not only had the Punk return, but Orton return. Like, don't forget, Orton has been gone for a year plus. Yeah, it's not like he's been gone for 2 months. But you also had the Rhea almost, doing the cash-in spot. I thought it was such a brilliant end to the match.
Yeah. And the timing of the Orton entrance, where Rhea's about to hand the referee the briefcase, and then all of a sudden, cue it up. I hear voices in my head.
Which I was telling Noah, I said, technically, if we're going to go down the storyline, has to follow the rules of everything, that wouldn't have been legitimate, because John Morrison handing the thing for the Miz was not legitimate. So
I do remember they did that.
Who's ever paid attention to that?
Yeah. I was, and you know what? And I was just very happy that the crowd didn't hijack it. They gave Orton his pop. They gave Orton his chance.
You're not gonna boo Randy Orton,
right? They're not
freaking legend.
Listen, they're gonna chant CM Punk. They're gonna, do the countdown. The best part about the whole, Survivor Series match is they just boo Dom's countdown. They had to give Dom the
You suck, Dom. You suck, Dom.
By the way, can we just talk about not just Orton returning, but vintage Orton, that RKO to McDonough?
Oh, yeah. That spot of the year. That is honestly spot of the year. Just Seth and I think it was Sammy
just
fucking JD off the cage.
They yeeted him off.
Okay, so kind of one last thing to, kind of maybe wrap this up for now, but we could still go into more conversations. Mike, to go to you first, I just feel like now I'm worried about AEW's future. Because now you've lost. Now WWE has the quote big drawback, and AEW is already a cold product as it is. I don't know. I'm very worried. Are you worried about AEW's future at all?
No, because of something that I've toyed with in my head a little bit. Because I'm not going to say it's going to happen. It's not definitively going to happen. But who's to say the two companies won't work together at some point?
By the way, CM Punk's new merch is already out on WWE Shop.
Oh my
I-
God.
I'm not
I mean,
sponsored.
that was quick.
So real quick, Mike, not to cut you off. I'm surprised none of that leaked.
Yeah, right?
Listen,
Right.
WWE can still pull off.
Triple H does a good job of containing the leaks.
I
Well,
want to
like-
know how many people knew about this because I guarantee it was
But there
only like
were-
Triple H and like one other person.
There were so many supposed leakers online today, though, that it was just like, I mean, how much was all of it seemed like BS. Like,
Yeah,
Think about it. Think about it. They hid the Hardy Boys return a couple years ago.
yeah.
No one expected it. Everyone thought New Day was just going to insert themselves in the triple threat, the fatal four-way for the tag titles.
Mm-hmm.
I mean-
Gallows and Anderson, despite not being used, have returned. You know,
I mean, you know,
They
you
are?
had
They
Io
did?
Sky's return. I know Io Sky. I'm Kyrie Sane's return. My apologies.
Yeah, they hit Kyrie Sane's return. I mean, we heard the rumors, but we never got a definitive like she has signed, she's returning
Yeah.
at this date.
Granted, we just know when it was going to happen, but you know, they kind of hid Bray Wyatt's return.
Mhm.
And then,
I mean,
you know,
yeah,
that
that
one-
was
That one was a surprise. I mean,
but to go back, no, to your original question, I wouldn't say the only way I'd be worried is as of January 1st, MJF also jumped ship. Then I'd be a little bit more concerned.
yeah. If MJF jumped ship, oh boy,
But
I am.
also, go ahead, Mike. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, it's fine. I would say this. I'm not concerned at the moment, but I know people are going to say it's a cold product now, but I kind of like where AEW is because it's what it was supposed to be at the start.
Mm.
It wasn't supposed to be all these huge stars. They just fell in love with that. And now they're kind of getting back to the roots of what it was. And I think that's what's important
Mm-hmm.
because they can let WWE deal with Punk and his BS. But I think the person, we talked about who gets credit and we all said Triple H. How much of a role did Paul Heyman play in this? Because we know that relationship.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. I mean, I just keep thinking about it now. Is this the huge storyline with Roman at the Rumble? Hey, Roman and Punk.
I mean,
I gotta think that's the way it would be.
I gotta think that's gonna be his thing, and then you do something else to get Punk away from that title scene and maybe to the other one, or maybe he's like Gunther's, the one who beats Gunther. I wouldn't be against that. He elevates like the IC title. I think there's a lot of different ways you could go with CM Punk. You could literally just do CM Punk like what Daniel Bryan did in AEW. Just have dream matches for the first like year and a half.
yeah, him and Nakamura and the Rumbles. That's sure.
Yeah,
Like-
him and Nakamura, him and Styles, Balor, Priest.
Oh yeah, him and Balor, or I mean, him and Styles needs to happen.
yeah. Like him and
Absolutely.
Styles needs to happen. Then you've got, I mean, like there's just so many matches that you could do. Like I said, you could literally just do a feud every single pay-per-view with Punk and just have a different opponent. He doesn't have to touch the world title. He's already, like we said, he's a huge star. I hope he's just not pushing his way into that being what he was supposedly against in his pipe bomb promo. Patchy, I just want to get to your thoughts on that question I asked. Are you worried about AEW now?
Well, tonight, they ran both of their shows against Survivor Series, so thinking they were
They just
gonna.
lost.
I cannot wait to see the ratings for that coming out because that's maybe in the 200,000 view range.
If that.
If that.
If that, why would you run your regular show against a pay-per-view? You don't see WWE. Okay, on occasion they will run a pay-per-view the same day as AEW, but they'll run it earlier in the day. So I say to give AEW their moment, to give them their time, that give them, because think about it, we're going to get in a few weeks. We'll get Stand and Deliver, but then we'll get WrestleMania. NXT is going to get their time to shine. So, like I say, they give AEW their time. And then, and then Tony Khan's just like, what? I'm going to run Collision and Dynamite at the same time as the Survivor Series. And because, we want to be the alternative.
Mm-hmm.
I would be worried right now if I'm AEW. Because once again, you lost your founder practically. You lost Cody Rhodes. He jumped ship. He wanted out. Because maybe he saw something he didn't like. Granted, you have the CM Punk, debacle will go. And he jumps. Yes, he jumps ships and comes home. I wouldn't be surprised. Granted, there's rumors saying that, MJF resigned through 2027, but maybe he's not. Maybe he wants out too. Maybe he sees the flaws, what's going on here. Because if you really think about it, it's really, Young Bucks and Kenny Omega kind of running the show with Tony Khan at helm. And, it's as the old cliche said in WCW, it's the clique that are, running things. And they can say they don't have creative control and all that. We kind of know that's a load of crock. Because if that was the case, you wouldn't have hypothetically ran CM Punk out of town and got him fired. You guys could have somehow squabbled your beef, and Punk can still be there right now.
Mm-hmm.
And Punk's not, ever, as W said, never say never. He's back home now.
Right.
But you got to give this another 6 months, because if WWE continues to hypothetically say keep climbing the mountain, being at that summit and going beyond the summit to the stratosphere, AEW is going to be done within the next 2 years. And it will be, as I've said a couple years ago, it will be WCW all over again.
Mike, you wanted to say something?
And we'll get Triple H announcing.
The post Survivor Series press conference going on. Ringside News has this. This is from Triple H saying, the Punk deal came together, and I quote, very quickly, and said it's been a long time coming.
That's
so
good.
That means they've had conversations in the past.
Well, to go off of that, Mike, real quick, I have a tweet here from Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful, and he says, here are the details we know as of now. CM Punk told at least one person close to him that he had an hour-long conversation with Triple H at some point last week. WWE staff, representatives, creative, all had no idea. CM Punk literally walked through the back in plain sight of everybody minutes before he appeared. They had cleared an area out. Triple H took over calling the show in the last couple of minutes and called for a copyright logo. Even many in production didn't know what was happening.
That's amazing.
Did Ryback see this coming?
I hope so.
Now. Yeah, Ryback's retiring. Congratulations on a wonderful career, Skip Sheffield.
Just think about it. You know what? If Punk doesn't wrestle, put him on commentary. Imagine having him and Corey Graves on commentary.
Yeah, I want him to wrestle though.
You know what? we need Punk and Owens on commentary.
Punk versus Owens. Oh my God, that match.
Take my money.
Adam, I want to get to you really quickly before we go. Your thoughts on the question I posed. Are you worried about AEW right now?
No more than I would have been before the show. I mean, this is a big loss for them, but they had already lost. I mean, that's already settled 2 months ago at this point in my mind. Like the second they basically them getting Edge and losing Punk is kind of a wash in my mind. I mean,
Ryback tweeted, by the way.
Yeah, and then them having Daniel Bryan there. I mean, they still have really big WWE names still. I don't know if it's really a cold product. It's just I don't know where they can really upwardly go from here at this point. I mean, like
Mhm.
What are they might sign Goldberg at some point for a couple matches.
Oh
They might
God.
something like that. But I don't know really where they go from here. But um, I don't know. I don't really see him showing up on in a WWE show again as a big loss. It's just kind of a well, they lost on him. Somebody else's gain. I don't
Right.
know.
I wonder this because Adam, I've texted you this so many times, and Patchy and Mike, you've heard me say this on the podcast so many times. I bet you within the next week we hear the deal that AEW is going to Max.
Yeah, that's possible.
It's possible.
I wonder if that's gonna be like their kind of response to that is being like, hey, we're finally on Max. You can get all our pay-per-views for $10 a month or however much the max is. That's kind of the response. Like, hey, now we can, because I know for a fact you cannot tell me that if they went to Max, they would open up their viewing. They would get a lot more viewers on their pay-per-views at the very least, because a lot more people would watch. Because it would only be $10, $12 versus $50 every time a pay-per-view comes out.
Yeah, that's a really good point. I mean, that's a huge difference right now in what the viewership and for pay-per-views especially. But yeah, again, like you said earlier, though, I don't know what they're doing running TV shows against WWE pay-per-views, because I mean, I really don't even know when would WWE even do that. I mean, they steer away from UFC.
Yeah, they really don't. They
go
don't
back to 1999 when they taped a Raw and Tony Schiavone said, "Don't watch them."
Yeah,
Mick Foley's their new world champion. That's
he's a chump.
That's gonna put butts in seats. Ugh.
Yeah,
I mean, and no, the other thing they could do to kind of counteract the Punk thing is at least WWE has young talent. Gunther, Grayson Waller. I think we're still waiting for AEW that said we're an alternative for young wrestlers. We're waiting to see the young superstars. Like, we know MJF.
Well,
but outside of that, what young superstar has really showcased themselves as an alpha there?
The only one I would argue, Mike, is I think Darby has shown enough.
Right. So there's two guys compared to what NXT has, compared to what the main roster is holding. Like, I don't think losing Punk is as big of a deal as losing Jade Cargill was.
Fair enough. That was probably a much bigger deal for AEW to lose her, because she was a rising star. She's just a presence. And now she's in WWE.
She might be the real cult of personality.
Well, honestly, I was going to say too. Like, I didn't really respect. Not that I didn't respect AEW, but like I didn't really buy in on the fact that they could be a talent stealing level thing until when they got Adam Cole. I was like, oh, this is legit. Like this is like, oh, Adam Cole was on track to be like next Shawn Michaels level in WWE. Like, I mean, he even had Shawn Michaels' blessing in WWE.
Well, if you think about that, Vince was still in charge of everything. He wanted to make Adam Cole a manager for some stupid reason, and he kept burying NXT Black and Gold. Okay, and then half those all of UE left.
Yep.
All of Undisputed Era left, and now they're off in the independents and AEW and yada yada. Yep. And now Triple H is in charge. You got all these wrestlers that are in AEW that were part of WWE that have a couple years contracts, and now they're like, well, fudge. I could have held out for an extra year. All this unfolds, and then we're talking completely different game right now with AEW, because they would really have nobody.
Yeah,
no
I mean, I will say, and kind of wrap things up here, Adam, one of the biggest things that I think is going to help AEW in the long run is that they just signed Will Ospreay.
Yeah.
Who we all know is one of the best wrestlers in the world right now.
Yeah, but so I'm kind of like, they already had him. Like they
already had him, but now it's like it's officially he's with AEW. So I think that is going to be a huge. I think it's two big like signings now with Punk returning to WWE and AEW getting Will Ospreay kind of like officially till like I think it's 2027 right now. So they got him for at least another 3 years.
I think back to your question though, like the risk of AEW though is like they're becoming more of the Americanized New Japan than they are becoming an alternative to WWE.
Mm-hmm.
If that makes sense. Like they're really becoming like this is like, I mean, they have Edge now, and they have Daniel Bryan and Adam Cole and some of those household name type guys. And they also have the homegrown guys, but they're really becoming more of a like this is what the smart fans do for wrestling alternative to WWE, but they're really still in the minority. Those fans are the really I'm talking like the anti WWE smart fans level are still very in the minority in the wrestling world, because a lot of people watch WWE beyond just wrestling fans.
Yeah. And, I hope that AEW still sticks around, because I think it's just a good thing to have more of these wrestling companies, because then it just gives more wrestlers work, because like imagine right now if AEW closed, like let's just say tomorrow AEW closes its doors. WWE is not bringing a lot of people back. Like a lot of those wrestlers are going without work because
TNA would get TNA would pick most of those guys up.
Yeah,
and you would see the re-rise of TNA where it was.
If the fact that TNA has gone on this long, when I thought they were dead in 2016, I think AEW will be fine.
Listen,
I mean, TNA at this point has been 5 different companies in succession that have happened to all just been had the right financial backing to float,
and they somehow have never closed. It's like,
well, if Mr. Hogan and Mr. Bischoff never went, I think they would have been fine.
Yeah.
But here's the other part. Like, if AEW, look, Triple H would pick his guys. Like, he would bring back the Adam Coles and
he'd bring back Keith Lee. Even he'd call the Raw.
He would be called Bearcat.
We shouldn't have fired Swerve Strickland. Like,
that would hurt. Yeah. Like the star that he's become.
I mean, they had him in NXT just doing his stuff. He was great there, but no one really. I mean, beyond the people that were like, "Oh, that guy was Killshot and Lucha Underground," like me.
Yeah. And then he goes to AEW, and you're like, "Whoa, where was this guy the whole time?"
Yeah.
Side note, Ryback's not retiring.
Oh,
he lied.
Here's the tweet from Ryback, and I quote, open quote, "I will not be retiring. He had to return to AEW, and that did not happen. Thank you for your supporting.
He lied.
Thank you for supporting FMN and Nutrition." Close quote. So
he's a joke.
No, here's the one other thing. I'm just not ever gonna rule this out. I'm not gonna say they merged together, but I'm not gonna be surprised if the two companies wind up working together at some point.
Okay, Mike, I'm just going off your idea, and this is wild speculation at this point. What if Punk is still the devil?
Well,
that'd be some wild stuff.
What if Punk is still somehow the devil, and that's how the companies like start working together?
Or wait, no, I'll go even weirder for you. What if Vince McMahon is the devil?
Could you?
Yes.
Could you?
Yes. Book it now.
Could you imagine that mask comes
it was
off?
Me, Max, all along.
Remember, MJF applied for Tough Enough back on TV, so it was whoever declined him for Tough Enough. So it was like Stone Cold. Jim Ross.
Oh my god!
My God, it was me all along.
Yeah. It's Jericho.
That's the.
No, I was going to say there was one season of Tough Enough where like Hulk Hogan went through his thing during it, and like Jericho took over or something. So it could be any. Could be Hulk Hogan.
I mean, just like they had to get Jericho had to get permission for both sides to do Austin's podcast.
Triple H just tweeted.
What?
Did he say words?
It's a picture of him and Punk. It says "Mighty Cold Day in Hell." Hashtag Survivor Series.
Did he say Ryback, go home?
It just says "Mighty Cold Day in Hell." Hell
Oh,
froze
man.
over.
That's awesome.
Hell is frozen over. He is back. But like I said, that's just my tinfoil hat. Like, what if he somehow is still a devil? And it's just like, wait, what is happening? Like, the whole wrestling world just implodes on itself.
Here's the real question: is Punk getting his ice cream bars?
No,
He never-
that's still gonna be the running joke. He'll never get
Never
those.
did it last time.
Oh,
You need the ice cream.
that
bar.
should have been the merch that they announced tonight. Was his WWE ice cream bars? That should have been what they announced. Like, can't believe they did it. But there you go, folks. CM Punk is finally back in WWE ring. He returned tonight at Survivor Series. So we'll see what happens. I mean, tell you what, I gotta tune into Monday Night Raw now because I gotta see what the heck happens now.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Does he start off? Does he kick off Raw?
Oh, he 100%
No,
kicks
he
off
has
the
to
show.
kick off Raw. If you
He's
don't,
100% kicking off the show.
Those fans will-
100%.
those fans will chant CM Punk all night until he comes out. If he's not the first segment,
Yeah, he's 100% kicking off the show.
Get the beach ball out.
But all right,
So-
folks, that's going to do it for this quick live recap of Survivor Series 2023. Thank you guys so much for listening. Make sure to check out the website, www.thesportsinsanitynetwork.com for great other blogs, vlogs, playing streams, and automobiles, of course. And for Lawrence Patchman and Lang, Adam Reeder, and Mike the Punmaster Rifkin, I'm Noah Trombley. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll catch